I'm not gonna lie, it's not a pretty day for the crypto market. It's not looking great, but I do have some good news. There's a couple key things that say that the Bitcoin price bottom actually could be in. I'm gonna get into it in today's episode of the show. Plus, we got a lot of other exciting stuff actually happening with Panama, with Paraguay. We've got interesting information from the mayor of Miami and some interesting stuff happening in China as well, where we may see a flood of Chinese miners coming into America. All that in today's show. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications so that way you're up to date on everything that you need to know about what's happening in the cryptocurrency market. Hey, what's up, guys? So like I mentioned, price is not looking great. It's pretty much a red day across the board. Bitcoin down 6%, Ethereum down 7%. Pretty much it looks like most of the top 20 coins down somewhere between 6 to 7%. And as we know, Bitcoin is kind of just, everything follows Bitcoin at this point, and it's not looking too good. We're still kind of in this range-bound trading. I'll get into the charts, and then I want to show you why I think the Bitcoin bottom could actually be in or very close to being in. And then we'll go through the news. So that's the agenda for today. So let's just take a look at the main charts that we take a look at each day. This is the total market cap. Taking a look at the total cryptocurrency market cap, we see that we're kind of just in this volatility compression pattern. It looks like we've broken down a little bit outside of where I drew this. My drawing was not perfect. If we did break below here, like the 1.4, then that may be nerve-wracking a little bit, but for the most part, we're kind of just trading inside of this volatility compression pattern, inside of this range, and everything's kind of following this. We can see the same thing happening with Bitcoin right here, and we do see that this death cross is like really close to happening, which if you're unfamiliar, this is the 50-day and the 200-day moving average. I talked about this yesterday a bit, but historically, when these two lines cross, we see quite a big sell-off, so we'll see what happens here. We also have Ethereum here, kind of it's broken out as where I drew this volatility compression pattern here, but we'd really want to see it close kind of below this 2100 zone for possibly further downside to come, which I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But let me talk to you a little bit about why the Bitcoin bottom could actually be in. And I'll take a look at this chart here. I know it's really blurry. I just screenshot off the internet. But basically, we see the 4-year halving cycles right here, here, and here, right? And you can see that in each of these halving cycles, you can see that price pulls back to this key Fibonacci level, the 618 Fibonacci level, which you can see it's actually right here. And we see that price is right kind of at this 618 Fibonacci level right here. If you're unfamiliar with Fibonacci levels, they're basically this like mathematical sequence that happens in nature and happens like all over in the world and in mathematics and in nature everywhere. So there's this key level that it's hitting here, and it's kind of bounced off of when we saw that major dip down to $30,000. And so that could be a reason why we're in at the bottom. Now, another thing that I saw was a chart on Twitter here, which is really interesting. And basically, this is the Bitcoin e-liquid supply change. So basically, this shows the amount of e-liquid Bitcoin supply. So you can see in this entire run-up that we've seen so far, there's been an increasing e-liquid supply, meaning that these Bitcoins are not liquid, meaning that people are holding on to their Bitcoin, basically is what that means. And then once we saw this big sell-off happen, right, kind of right at the top, we saw this sell-off happen, and there was a decreasing e-liquid supply, which basically means that the supply of Bitcoin became more liquid, right? There was more liquid Bitcoin as people were selling them back to the market, and for the first time since, we've seen this switch from red to green here, which is a really good sign, because it means that people are holding on to their Bitcoin again, which is generally a positive sign for Bitcoin, because people are gearing up for another bull run. So that is a interesting thing that's just happened and came in recently. So that's why the Bitcoin bottom actually could be in. You know, obviously the markets are completely random, but these are just some of the facts, right? So let's take a look at what's actually happening in the news, which may be causing some of this. We see that the Chinese banks roll out 3,000 ATMs that convert the digital yuan to cash. If you guys are unfamiliar, I think it was like a couple weeks ago, China rolled out their digital yuan to basically, I don't remember the exact number, but they started rolling it out. And this is a thing that's happening. Like I mean, it looks like every country is going to have their own CBDC, or central bank digital currency. And, you know, this is interesting because yeah, you'll get, you know, some of the benefits of like what the original vision for Bitcoin was, but you don't get rid of the excessive money printing that comes along with a fiat currency. And this is just a way where governments are going to be able to track literally everything that you do, which I'm not like a huge fan of. So anyway, so this is happening. And also we saw that China, it was pushing a lot of their miners out. They claimed it was for environmental reasons, but I think we really know that it was because they're competing against the Communist Party of China's, you know, their plan for kind of having, you know, control over the money supply with their CBDC. So with that being said, this is causing some interesting things to happen. Now I'll tell you this and then I'll tell you how this all plays in together. But we have clean energy for Bitcoin mining, says the mayor of Miami. As you guys know, Francis Suarez, the mayor of Miami, is really friendly towards Bitcoin, and he's doing a lot of awesome stuff for the community. And he's actually decided that he's going to lower the cost of electricity to facilitate Bitcoin miners. So he's making some things. He's giving some tax incentives for Bitcoin miners to come to Miami, and a lot of really cool stuff happening in Miami. Now, another thing that just came out, this is kind of a different angle of the same story, but Miami's mayor is luring Chinese Bitcoin miners with cheap nuclear energy, which is so cool. Nuclear energy is really, really cheap, and there's talks about him doing this, and that a lot of Bitcoin miners will end up coming to Miami. Currently, there's a bunch that are coming to Texas as well because they have cheap renewable energy. But this could have an influx of Chinese Bitcoin miners coming to America. So this is really cool for America, just more and more miners coming to America. So yeah, and they're kind of forced to, right, with all the regulation happening in China, and China shutting down Bitcoin mining farms and that sort of stuff. So with that being said, kind of still on the topic of you know, this whole issue, I think the main reason why this, you know, bear market or this correction happened was because the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or the FUD, around the energy usage and Bitcoin not being green, which, you know, we know is not, I mean, it's not like that accurate. I mean, the current monetary system, the current banking system, you know, it uses a lot more unclean energy than Bitcoin, but that's a story for another day. But Mining Council, we must counter misinformation about Bitcoin's environmental damage. This is Michael Saylor. Again, he's just been such a huge advocate for Bitcoin and has done so much for the community. But basically, he's saying that they need to counter the misinformation that's happening out there. And he's basically saying that this Bitcoin Mining Council needs to be able to share cooperative information about the space, which people can benefit from about Bitcoin mining. He said that the information space, or reading the headlines, has prompted politicians to move against cryptocurrency, right? A lot of politicians just read the headlines and they don't really know what's actually going on. They don't really understand it. And he says that Bitcoin has external threats, Saylor said. The threat is Bitcoiners talking is not Bitcoiners talking to each other. The threat is people that don't understand Bitcoin, which is really important to understand. It's these people that don't understand Bitcoin that are the real threat here. So we need to do whatever we can to educate people, and that's why we put together this show, is to help educate people. And if you're getting an education here, if you feel like this is helpful, then go ahead and like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, right? Because this is the mission here. Also, we kind of posted this on our Instagram, which if you don't follow us yet on Instagram, you can do it. It's Blue Edge Crypto. But people fear what they don't understand, right? And right now people don't understand Bitcoin, but people feared electricity back in the day. People feared computers back in the day. People feared cars back in the day because they didn't understand it, right? And today people fear Bitcoin because they don't really understand it, okay? So that's kind of what's happening there. Also, we had news from Panama to present crypto-related bill in July. This is just so awesome. Like, this seems like, you know, El Salvador was the first to accept Bitcoin as legal tender, and now Panama is really making progress towards doing this. Supposedly in July, they're working to propose a bill to make it available as legal tender in their country. And this is just, you know, a tsunami of smaller countries that are starting to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, which is really awesome. We saw Tanzania as well, news from Paraguay as well. A lot of really awesome stuff happening. So that's what's happening. If you guys would like to get this news before I can make a YouTube video each day, if you'd also like to get expert analysis from Lee Ryder, the original crypto didact, he's been trading Bitcoin since 1 penny, and you'd like to get his daily trades, we offer that all inside of our Discord group, which you can try for 7 days for free at bluedgefinancial.com/crypto. And if this video is helpful, again, like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications so you don't miss the next video.